Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and as you can see, yes, there is still no water. We want to say hello to Connor, who is behind the camera. Nice of you to join us. Also nice for the folks from New Dimension Comics to join us. They are once again sponsoring the show, and we'll talk a little bit more about them later on in this episode. We have some also-rans to talk about. We have some indies, and I'll update you on our live Facebook show. We have all that, plus a whole lot more. A cinematic class is about to begin, and your professor is in. Say good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am your cinematic professor and a purveyor of truth in movies, and you will have much truth tonight. You know, for the last, 6 months or so, I've been railing about these foreign movies, especially the ones from Great Britain that have been coming over, horror movies, and how slow and how plodding they are. And, they needed to... Got an exception to the rule. This one was a lot of fun. It's a movie called Alien Outbreak, and I have to tell you that Neil Rowe is the man responsible for this movie. He wrote it and directed it, and he does not take forever to get to, bang, the movie opens with a bang, and he keeps the tension running all the way through it. It turns out to be a pretty decent horror flick, and it has a really cool twist at the end as well. You want to make sure you catch this one. It's called Alien Outbreak.
It was about 6:15, and he seemed fine. He was looking forward to his tea.
Sir, do you feel okay?
I'm not feeling myself.
The landlord did that?
We had to stop him from killing himself.
Sir, there's a lady in the road outside your house.
You know what happened to her?
Sir, please let me in.
It's come back for me.
Please, can I come
It's in the house. It's got in the house.
in? Hello?
586 urgent. There's something out here attacking people. I don't know how to explain it.
Look at the size of them.
Delta Tango, come in, please.
Phones are down and there's been nothing on the radio.
Are those things out there?
And just standing, watching.
What is going on?
The closer those things get, the crazier people start acting.
What happens if they get in here?
We've got to get out of here now.
They're coming!
I guess if tonight's movie has a subplot or a running theme through it, it will be the women empowerment movies. And our first one up tonight is to talk about one of the also-rans as far as the awards were concerned. Hustlers is the name of the movie. And folks, I got to tell you, I could not believe the PR, the hype, and the press that I was receiving, not only from the studio, you expect it from the studio, but also from these pundits who call themselves critics, and actually they're only shills for whoever's greasing their palm at that particular week or month. And, this movie came out with everything talking. It's a movie about women empowerment. It's a movie that shows how women can be strong and fortified. Folks, this is a movie about strippers who turn criminals, and they go out and use a date rape drug to knock out their victims and then rob them blind. This is women empowerment? What are you people thinking? The only thing good in this movie is the performance of J-Lo. She was worth watching. She held this all together, and I thought she did a great job. Here's a look at Hustlers.
Front hook, ankle hook, knee hook. From here, you can do the carousel. Just switch. and rap.
Minus 40% is 160.
I just want to take care of my grandma, maybe go shopping every once in a while.
When I was a kid, I always wanted to work with animals. I was close.
And when would you say that things got out of control?
Past the mirror. Ooh. Please help! This is my husband!
Feel like a honey bun, still like a Tommy gun. Roll your wooden one, don't teach mommy something. I like my nigga's birthday, dude. Say he gonna eat this like soon.
So the guy went back 3 more times.
Guess he must have liked it.
Boom, hammer time. I was born to play. Diamonds on my neck. I like boarding jets. I like more than sex. But nothing in this world that I like more than Jay. We didn't do anything.
So I told you on the outset of the show that Alien Outbreak was a fast-moving horror/sci-fi flick coming from across the pond and the fine folks in Great Britain, and that was a really good movie. Well, a perfect example of another one coming from the pond that is the counter to that. This movie is so slow, I've seen continents move quicker, okay? That's also, it's called The Lodge. And wow, it's not so much a horror film, really, as it is a film about madness and a descent into madness. Speaking of madness, there is a cameo by Alicia Silverstone in this movie. Folks, I had to do a triple take when I saw her come on screen. This was once the original Batgirl in movies in the George Clooney debacle. And she came on screen in this and I went, oh, good Lord, it must have been a rough life. She did not age well. Either that or there was an awful lot of makeup. I don't think it was an awful lot of makeup. You know, wow, it's just like, this movie is really, you know what, I got to tell you something. If you're going to watch The Lodge, then make sure you have something else you're doing, okay, that'll help it move along. Like put your scrapbook together, organize your photos from the holidays, something. You need to be doing something in order to stay with this film. Otherwise, you're going to be right out on it. It's called The Lodge. Here's a look.
So, how would you feel about going to the mountains for Christmas? With Grace. She really wants to get to know you guys.
That's our mom's hat.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You okay? I don't want to leave you here with the kids if you're not feeling up to it.
I'm feeling fine. It was my idea, and it's a couple days. I can do a couple days.
Okay, guys, I'm off. Have fun.
What is that?
It's Grace.
Everyone committed suicide except for her.
Repent, and you will find salvation.
Guys! Things are very uncomfortable between us, and we're stuck in a house together. What is this? The power's out. Where are my things? It makes no sense. What?
I heard something.
Repent. Repent your sins.
Hello? Did you do that?
We didn't do anything.
We're leaving.
What are you talking about? Look outside. We're stuck here.
Please help me. It's okay. Trust me. You have nothing to be scared about.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say a hearty welcome back to the fine folks at New Dimension Comics. You know, every year they help sponsor the show. They are back now that I am back. And once again, they are going to be sponsoring the Three Rivers Comic-Con. You know, I think this is the 5th year for the Comic-Con. This will be the 3rd year I've been associated with it. I've had a blast. Every year I've gone down there, I have had an absolute blast. And I always find more things there that I want than my budget will allow me to have. Usually it doesn't stop me. You know, that's what plastic's for. But what a great time. And I am going to be there again this year. It's going to be held May 30th and the 31st. So any day you come by, I'll be there during its run. And it's going to be held at the David L. Lawrence Convention Center in downtown Pittsburgh. This is a nice big venue, centrally located. It looks like it's going to be a blast. Some names for those of you who are really into comics that are already signed up to be there. Tom Zahler will be there. Bart Sears will be there. Mike Gilbert will be there. And I'll have more names for you on the next edition of the show. The thing, you know, if you've been to this before, you know what it's like. All the cosplay, everything is there. It's fantastic. Tickets are still $10. So that's not bad. But you know what Todd and John are doing is the price is going to bump up as you get closer to the play date. So you want to make sure you get your tickets, you know, by April. This way you're secured at that date. And there will be VIP passes, which include, you know, the traditional Three Rivers Comic-Con beer that's specially brewed for the event, and VIP passes to the whole event, including the party. More on this coming up as it goes along. I've always had a great time here. Welcome back, New Dimension Comics. Look, if you haven't been down to their store, their new one on the waterfront, my God, there is so much. I just walked in there to talk to those guys the other day and ended up dropping all kind of coin. There's always really good stuff in there. It's New Dimension Comics down on the waterfront, and it's the Three Rivers Comic-Con coming to the David L. Lawrence Convention Center May 30th and 31st. Be sure to see you there. I'm going to try to get Todd and John back on the show again. We usually have them every year just before the show, have them come on and talk a little bit about what's going on. And we're going to try again to do that this year as well. So that'll be an awful lot of fun. Welcome back to the show, guys. Good to have you along. You know, I told you a little bit earlier that if today's show had an underlying theme, it was, you know, women empowerment, because that's what Hollywood tries to do, you know. I told you how they putzed it up with Hustlers, right? Okay, so here comes England. That's right, the British again, and the Russians. Yes, the Russians, the dreaded communist Russians who we're all supposed to hate. And guess what? They've all made women-driven, women empowerment movies much better than anything Hollywood has come out with. Trust me. Let's take on the British first, because they're usually pretty good at this stuff. The movie is called Emma. And I know what you guys are thinking. Most men lose interest in literature and writing in the high school years when they're forced to read Jane Austen, Emily Dickinson, and people of that ilk. I mean, it's, oh my God, you know, you have to struggle to get through those books. And Emma, naturally, is based on a novel by Jane Austen. So yes, it is there. But this movie is done well. One thing I'll give they do period pieces exceptionally well. So you have all of the costumes, you have all of the British accents and all of the living of nobility and all that stuff. This story was really not bad. I enjoyed watching this. Emma, of course, she fancies herself as a matchmaker. She can make the perfect match. And of course, everyone that she tries to put together, it's a disaster. It's like oil and water. So there's a lot of chuckling humor going on through this whole thing. But the bottom line is, even though everything works itself out at the end, as these movies are wont to do, it is still women empowerment, women driven, and none of the agenda. And that's what makes it so good. Here's a look at Emma.
Dearly beloved friends, we gather here in this time of man's great innocence.
Innocence? Innocence? No? Emma.
That can scarcely
Probably
be
no
done. A father is a
separate
gentleman and a
certainly
gentleman
a respectful relation.
Miss Woodhouse! Miss Woodhouse! Such news!
Emma comes out, I'm not sure when you're going to be watching the show, but it really doesn't come out until by, I think, the second week of March. So you have some time before you see it. But it's a lot better women empowerment movie than anything that's come out of Hollywood since I can remember. And now the Russians have done it, and they've done a better job too. The movie is called Beanpole. Now, Beanpole was officially Russia's submission for Best Foreign Picture to the Oscars. Obviously, it did not win. But, I got to tell you, I enjoyed this. Now, like most foreign movies, you have to read the subtitles, so that pulls your eye away from the action as you read them. They do, however, stay on long enough that you can make out everything that's going on. It's not like the Asian that flash on their subtitles so quick you miss half of them. And like most foreign movies, Beanpole is at least 30 minutes too long. They really drag it out when you go to foreign directors and producers. For some reason, they have to keep repeating their tomes with ad nauseum in their films. But the bottom line here is that you have a story that basically is a story about women empowerment, but that's not the story. There is actually a story, and it's a good story. It involves murder, it involves child kidnapping, it involves blackmail, it involves the medical profession and assisted suicides, and all kind of things going on here. But they've just placed women at the forefront of the story and thereby provide them with empowerment instead of this ridiculous agenda nonsense that Hollywood's doing. If you need and want to watch a good woman empowerment movie, check out the Russian film Beanpole.
Жизнь переходит на мирные рельсы. Работать будем много, как учит нас вождь.
Тимбера. Воевали вместе. Дылду комиссовали после контузии, а я осталась и на Берлин. Где Пашка? Где мой Пашка?
Для производства жизни у вас ничего не оставили.
Роди мне маленькую. С собой.
Барышня, добрый вечер.
Вы не хотите прогуляться?
Иди. Я не буду. Он меня вылечит. Он нас вылечит.
Зачем тебе ребеночек?
Хочу стать ей хозяйкой.
I cannot begin to tell you the amount of email and comments that I've had on some of my reviews. So about a month ago, as the purveyor of truth in movies, I let it be known that a lot of the horror films that are coming out now involve interracial couples. I was, why is this happening? Why do aliens come down from the sky, zombies come up from the ground, ghosts come out of the wall, and it's all against interracial couples? What are these producers trying to say here? And people came out and said, I don't see how you could say this. It's just people being diverse, and our culture is multicultural. Nonsense. It's happened again, and it's happened in this movie called Countdown. We have, oh, jeez. This one combines two elements of horror, okay? First, we have technology. High technology, like Unfriended and all that stuff on the web, has been in horror films for a while. So that involves this. There's a high-tech app that's going to tell you exactly when you're going to die, all right? But it also harkens back to true horror in that it is based upon the curse of a medieval demon, okay? Now, how this medieval demon becomes techno-savvy is never really explained, and it really doesn't matter for the story. Just know that he has an app out there, okay? It's going to tell you when you're going to die. And don't you know that the couple that gets involved in this and has to try to fight the demon is an interracial couple? This has been the standard operating procedure in the last, oh my God, I can't think of the last time I saw, Quiet Place 2 is going to do it. Okay, there's even a TV show called Evil, and they're doing it on that one too. It's like, if you're an interracial couple, the forces of hell are going to come and haunt you. What are you trying to say here? As far as the movie itself is concerned, hey, this was made for kids. Okay, this was made. You can sit and watch this with your teenage girls, and nothing bad is going to happen. It's rated PG-13, and everyone knows if you really want to have a good, decent horror flick, you got to have an R-rated movie. So there's nothing too scary in this. There's nothing too gory. Yeah, you get glimpses of the demon. It's a rag face with glowing eyes. It's nothing that's going to scare your kids or make it. And there's no cat in the window scene. Something that makes you go, whoa, jump. Nothing like that in this at all. It's just like a standard thriller going around with internet stuff. So it's very peaceful. It's calm. And you can certainly watch it with the family if you're looking for a good, spooky Saturday night. The movie is called Countdown. It's available on DVD and streaming. Here's a look.
Our phones have become essential. Apps keep track of our schedules, our fitness, our love lives. But what if an app could tell you how long?
I got 63 years.
57 years.
Before you die, would you want to know?
What? 2 days?
This app, it's fake, obviously.
My girlfriend said the same thing. It knew. That app said she was gonna die.
Whatever's happening to us, I think it's because of this app. I need a new phone. A new phone, new number, new service.
Anything else I can help you with?
No.
The Countdown app, it's really just a random number with a clock. It's not that scary, but it seems like it worked on YouTube clowns.
This must be everyone that downloaded the app.
My sister, she downloaded it.
All we need to do is beat the clock by 1 second.
Have you ever done anything like this before?
No, but I've read about it. A lot.
What if this doesn't work?
A fate much worse than death will pursue you.
Come with me.
It won't overwhelm you until you are utterly destroyed.
Wake up.
Yo, are you calling my name?
If you go on to the YouTube channel, you'll see that there are different, my latest posts are up there. And then I always put like the best movies of the year so far. Okay, so Right now, all you have up there is Motherless Brooklyn. That's the one that so far this year is worth looking at. But I decided to do something different this year based on this movie. The movie is called Downhill and has Julia Louis-Dreyfus and Will Ferrell in it. People, this movie is horrendous. It truly, truly is. Now, I got to tell you, it's actually a remake. This was originally a French movie, French/Swedish movie. I have not seen the French-Swedish movie, and I got to think it's got to be better than this dribble that they put out here. This movie is so bad that I have decided to not only give you the best movies of the year, but I'm also going to put up the worst movies of the year as well. This movie is called Downhill, and it is absolutely horrible. Go on to the YouTube channel, and I'll be glad to tell you all about how terrible this thing is. And it's made the worst movies of the year list already, and the year, technically, has just started. It's abysmal.
I don't know.
Just been through a lot lately. My dad passed away. It's a shame.
8 months ago.
So we came here.
He's still here.
Here's to here. You lose a parent and the ticking gets louder. Every day is all we have.
We have, yep.
Powerful. Maybe we ski the beast after lunch.
Pete.
I don't think it'll be that challenging. It'll be fine.
Is that okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
It looked like it was gonna kill us.
For a moment.
The kids were screaming because it felt like we were gonna die. Pete?
Wow.
And I look over at Pete, and he had grabbed his phone. Pete left us.
I didn't leave you to be buried.
I'm gonna win.
I ran to get help.
Yes, I'm gonna win.
That's not what happened.
I choose to survive.
I love my family.
Every day is all we have.
How could I run away in ski boots?
What?
Can you run in ski boots?
Not very well.
Boom. Exactly.
Regardless, I wouldn't leave my family to die.
That's boom.
Yes, I am prepared.
You have a right to be angry. It's black and white. Well, no, it's black and white.
How old are you?
30?
I won't give in.
There's only one thing I have to worry about right now, and that's going down.
I don't understand why there weren't any warnings posted anywhere.
There was a warning.
What?
Posted at lifts, gondolas, hotel receptions, restaurants, shops, bars, soda machines, toilets.
We didn't see any of that.
Well.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would love to continue talking to you about movies and letting you know where the best places are to spend your entertainment dollar. But there's no water. Even the bear has passed out because it's so parched in here. So we'll have to cancel this all till next week. Next show, I'll talk to you about more dino movies coming out. They should be great. We have hockey movies coming out and even some more sci-fi flicks that you'll want to check out. And we have a woman's version of an H.G. Wells classic. Can't wait for that one, right? All that, plus a whole lot more. I've got to get Bear some water. Now that you have learned what you have learned, here endeth your lesson.